when you look back on the circumstances, there are moments where it feels really bleak. How am I going to make it? What am I going to become? This shouldn't be me. This wasn't supposed to be me. I'm not one of them, so to speak. And then yet here you are, right? Being a teen father myself, a lot of the focus had always been on teen mothers, single mothers, young mothers, mothers in general, right? But when it came to the fathers, particularly teens, not a lot of resources or narratives about it, So you might have been told, hey, just don't have children or wait till you're married or can support them. But we all know the reality is that's not always the case, So when it came to resources and things of that nature, if there were, it wasn't highly visible, to say the least.
It's honestly surprising that there isn't more, there's youth advocacy, but not young parent advocacy. There's none of that. This is the only program that I know that advocates for young parents. But I feel like there's less for fathers. It's been very hard for me because I feel like that's the support that I need because I kind of got through in a wind whirl and not knowing what to do. I mean, I read all that I could and I did blogs and all that stuff, but this was a really big central support system for me.
Yeah, I was definitely one of the fortunate ones, having a strong support system, family and otherwise. If it hadn't been for them, I'm not sure I'd be having this conversation today, but it would have been nice to have organizations that were built around situations like that as well during those days. So I'm fortunate and glad to be working with an organization like this one where these resources are now made available. And again, because not everybody had the same kind of support system that I had, and you hope that children do, but it's not always the case.
I think that the time and consideration that Miss Rosemary and her daughter Yaliyah put into just me and my child's mom and all the issues that we had and all the assistance that we couldn't get is amazing. And I don't think that things would be really good at all without the assistance and care that they've put into us. They really sat down and advised us and counseled us. And then there was stuff that they taught us that you don't typically learn, just things that we should know ahead of time about being a parent or being a stepfather or things of that sort.
A wide range of support, particularly being able to come here on a weekly basis, to be around like-minded people going through some of the same situations and being able to talk about some of the struggles that they face and how they're able to work them out. They get financial resources as well, teaching, coaching, and even if they need simple things like a car seat, which can be pretty expensive. And being a teen parent, having the money for something like that you desperately need, but being able to come up with the funds at the same time can be a challenge. But they're able to come here when there's something like that that's missing to be able to obtain it.
They're working their butts off. We got our house. They're turning this area that we have right now into a shop so they can give things to young parents. I mean, I've in a way aged out, but they still support me and my fatherhood and all that. So they're here to help everybody.
For young men, particularly when you're told you're a provider, you need to do this, you need to do that, everything's on your shoulders. And then when it's actually time for you to carry that burden, I think it'll be great to know that a resource like Holloway House is there to support you. It'll be the first of its kind in this region. And I think that'll be a staple here in Cincinnati, just to let people know that we have a landmark in addition to the resources that have been made available over the last 6 years. So now people can point out and say, hey, that's the Holloway House there. And, they know what it means, what it represents. And if they know someone or if they need to help themselves, they can know where to go. But sometimes you're back against a wall and to know a resource is there still gives you hope. So when there's still a little bit of hope, that's encouragement to go forward regardless of what's going on in your life.
There are young parents out on the street actually when their parent finds out that they're pregnant, their parent puts them out and that puts them in a high risk situation to be trafficked or hurt, and there's no way for them to get anywhere because they can't get any money to work. So them having bedrooms in the Holloway House is helpful to have the teen parents a safe place to be. It's really hard out here. I actually was homeless for a month. I had nowhere to be. And I just went to work and took care of my son, and then I slept in my car for a whole month until I was able to get a place. And it was very hard being a parent and trying to find a place to be. So it's pretty tough, but you gotta do what you gotta do for you and yours. You know, I did it. I know I had to get a place so my son can have somewhere to be. The transition between car and house is pretty nice. I'll say it's pretty beautiful. And like now I have like 3 jobs. I'm working 3 jobs. I'm going back to school. I'm getting my CDA. I'm doing all this so my son can have a better future.
I can only imagine how difficult that was. I didn't have to live out of my car, but that's not the case again for everyone, unfortunately. And so I can only imagine some of the things that he would think day to day. You need everything to go right in order to make that transition. And we know things don't always go according to plan. If I had been in that situation, just not really sure how it would have worked out. I would have had to desperately seek for help, and having an organization like this one would have proved really positive in a case like that.
The sense of community that you get from here, I feel welcome here at any time, like 24/7. If I call, I text if I need to, and if I need anything, they're ready to show me somewhere where I can go to get that.
I'm living proof that you don't get anywhere or get as far as you possibly can without help. So if you want to rely on yourself, you can only go so far, right? And the most successful people do it with help. Get the help that you need, seek it out. Don't be ashamed, don't be afraid. There are people who are in the same situation and people who have been in the same situation. And they're happy to pour out their experience and walk you through it step by step. So definitely reach out, don't hesitate.
It helps, like it really helps. Rosemary and Yalia and their team of people are out here working their butts off to advocate for the youth, our young mothers and our young fathers. And if that's not a reason to come out and support, I don't know what is.